Devotees! I knew you'd come.
Devotees, welcome back to Leowolf TV, and today is going to be a deep dive into my character Willow the Wisp, and I use that term loosely, my character, because even though it was a character that I was portraying on my show, it was actually not my original character. Naturally, if you are a wrestling fan, then you are going to be well aware that this character was a complete ripoff of the TNA, WWE, Ring of Honor, well, the wrestling legend himself, Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy had a character called Willow the Wisp, and I really got into it. Like, I knew of his character before on a special features DVD he had, and I just never gave it much thought. But once he showed up on TNA as this masked character, it was such a drastic change from the Jeff Hardy that we grew up watching, and now we got, Jeff Hardy in this mask, talking all weird and methodical and dramatic and theatrical.
When the past reminds you of how good you were, the future awaits your fate!
And with that insane laugh, that was also really something that I thought was really good and fun. So I decided to make my own mask. I started at first or whatever. I was just gonna do my own thing, and I was gonna try. I kept trying to say, okay, well, I won't do Willow. I won't be. It'll be Willow the Wisp promos, but it won't be nothing. But then that evolved to me actually trying to do like makeup. Okay, I'm gonna be Willow. What would he say in this scenario, kind of thing? And wowee, did I get obsessed with this character, because it basically I didn't really have a show at the time. At the time, I technically did, but it wasn't aired. It was originally called, as long-term viewers will know, Leowolf TV was actually originally called WPW TV. And, well, actually, technically, it was JD TV, and then it quickly evolved into Leowolf TV. But the first iteration was WPW TV, which was me, a friend of mine named Jacob, and a former friend of mine named Dylan. And at the time, we all were doing. I wanted us all to do masked characters, because like they was wanting to do we all wanted to do characters, but I said I think we all should wear masks, that way we stand out. Because anybody on YouTube or anybody on Facebook, anybody could put on like sunglasses and a different shirt and pretend and say they're a different character, but no one's going to immediately, jump in and go, that's a different character. That's totally different from Jacob. That's totally different from Josh. See, he's wearing sunglasses. It's totally different. But now if I'm wearing a mask and face paint and like completely looking drastically different, a complete perfect repackaging, then naturally it's going to catch your eye. So anyway, no, we were doing just random videos, and I wish I still had some of the videos that we did, so I could show y'all to them, so I could show y'all the videos we did. I mean, I got a couple of them, I've got a few of them, but they weren't very good. But maybe I've thought about maybe having a segment where I bring back. Earlier in season 1, I used to do this thing where I would warp back to WPW TV. Like it would start the Leowolf intro, but then it would immediately do like a Doctor Who warp tunnel, and then it would show the WPW TV intro, which was originally it was a picture that said WPW TV on it. And anyway, but like maybe I'll do a video in the future, for y'all, so y'all could see like the original clips. Because humble beginnings, as it were. I don't have all of them, but I've got a few left over because, as I said in the Daphne video, I believe, the hard drive that had them was knocked off the table, and it was fried, so I couldn't get a lot of stuff back. But some of it I was able to salvage because it was on my Facebook, or it was on a thumb drive, or it was on my PlayStation 3. I completely had forgotten I put it elsewhere. So anyway. No, there was Willow originally was supposed to be a Christian-based mentor-like character. Like he would do promos, like these eerie, crazy, maniacal promos, but it was kind of my outlet at the time because the church I was going to, I kind of basically mixed those two together, and I was really trying to make Willow a good thing, because I was trying to mix it and it just wasn't working. You can't do that. One, it's a ripoff already of another character. Two, it's this dark, gothic, jester-looking clown sitting over here talking about the wonders of heaven and Christianity and you should follow Jesus. And it's like, why does it look like a demonic character's talking to us about God? It's just to further drive home the fact that this was not going to work. Dylan's character, which was, by the way, Willow had two brothers. That was the original canon was Willow had a brother named Frenchman, and then he had another brother named Cryor. And Cryor's name we came up with that idea by combining the words "cry your eyes out," because it was kind of a reference to whenever you're really, being slain in the spirit, being truly convicted and you're remorseful and you're asking God to forgive you, because only then can you truly, wash yourself clean of a lot of things. You got to truly let it go. So we called him Cryor, and we spelt it Creye. It was like Creyeyour. So it was like Cryor, but people kept pronouncing it Crayer, like crayon or Crayola, and I'm like, oh boy, or Creola, and I'm like, shut up. Anyway, but Cryor's original mask design was actually okay. It was originally this skull mask that Dylan at the time, we just decided we'll use this mask. He doesn't really need a mask. We'll just use this one because we didn't really think of anything. But but after a while we decided, yeah, he needs an actual mask. That's his own mask that we could make for him and stuff. But at first, ironically, it was the same exact, not the exact same mask that he has probably still to this day, but it was the exact same kind of mask as the Reaper's current face. Which is ironic whenever you really think about it. Only that Grim Reaper mask with the spiked face and stuff, the one he had was actually like bone color. It wasn't actually black like mine. And mine I don't believe was actually black originally. I think it was actually white or blue or something. But anyway, so I thought that was kind of ironic. But then we ended up making him his own mask and such, and it evolved a couple of times, which if you want to know what Cryor looked like originally, go back to season 1 in my first art gallery. Eventually it'll come up with it'll have stuff of pop-ups on my phone. Anyway, it'll have an art gallery saying Cryor teddy bears or Cryor mask. We even got a hockey mask and painted it, slightly altered the design and put it on there. We had that version, and now and then the Frenchman's, which I never really liked the name. Originally it was called the Hideous Frenchman, because it was kind of like a Phantom of the Opera meets Jack the Ripper kind of thing, or and then it was also, Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde meets Freddy Krueger. It was kind of like that. The Frenchman could go into your dreams and he would fight Freddy Krueger, so you could have good dreams and stuff like that. He would help you and stuff. Ideas were going all over the place. We never did anything with it because all we could do was just think and dream. We didn't really do anything, but Willow was starting to really make a name for himself at my church that I was going to, like I said, because I used him as an outlet of things that I didn't like in the church that were going on, like the politics of church, that go on within the church that you don't agree with the youth classes and stuff. I like to say, okay, you got the regular people who show up to church, who come to have church, then you got the people who are the elite, that are the pretty people. They're the people who like they look pretty, they look nice, they got the money, they can dress in all these nice clothes, like Air Apostle clothes. They're the elite. They're not the poor people. They're the people who've got money and can do all this other stuff. They get away with a lot of stuff, like, and then like you would think they're like you get this misconception of them that they're like the perfect ones, and that's who you should strive to be like in the church, because they're doing good for themselves, so they're clearly it's almost like they're perfect. You put them on a pedestal, but then you find out later on that actually no, they're pretty much horrible people. It's not everywhere like this. It's not like this in every church, but just stuff like that that I was finding out at the church I was going to at the time. So I'm like, I would use Willow to do subliminal videos and subliminal messages, and I would even go so far as to post messages on my Facebook as Willow. But it was always so funny because I would throw people off, because I would make a sentence, but the sentence was in the right order. It was in proper order. But each word was backwards. So every time I would tell that to people at the church, they would try to diffuse it, or decipher it, and they couldn't do it. They're like, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, this is just random words you put together. And I'm like, you said it was backwards, so we flipped it around. I'm like, that's the problem. You're flipping the sentences around, and now you're making the sentence backwards. And they're like, you just said it was backwards. I'm like, no. Each word is backwards. Individually is backwards, but the sentence is going forward. Say, like, if I said no one but Jesus, it would be Inun. It'd be like Inun Tub Esudge, stuff like that. It's still no one but Jesus, but each word is flipped around backwards. Anyway, no, I would say stuff like, I'd make videos where it was like, one bad apple spoils the bunch, but what is it to be said of the market man who sells the apples? Does he sell you fresh fruit, or does he purposefully sell you the rotten fruit because he knows you will return? Or something stupid like that. I can't quite remember, but just stuff like that. Or I would actually quote real Jeff Hardy promos that he would actually quote, and I would try to make it match with the current times the stuff I was going through. Like, politics, agendas, side deals, partnerships, betrayals. These are the evils of the world, I know. These are the things I no longer have a desire to chase, and stuff like that, which was pretty freaking surreal. But for me at the time, I'm like, yeah, this kind of makes a lot of sense right now. Anyway, well, my grandmother had actually, at the time of me being obsessed with Willow, which, like I said, I had made up 2 characters that was like his brother, that was his brothers and stuff. Willow had the umbrella. He would make like magic, and stuff like that. I even went so far as to get one of them little Grim Reapers that you hang from a tree, and I made a little mask of Willow, and I put it on there, and I called it Little Willow, which if you've watched the extended version of Season of the Wisp, you'll see that at the end. You'll see that little Willow puppet thing or whatever at the end of the video. I did stuff like that, and then I also made duct tape teddy bears of Willow, and then my friend Jacob at the time was wanting to make props specifically for the characters, like Willow would have like a black and white umbrella or sword, or then he wanted to make a keyblade for Willow and stuff, I was really obsessed with the character, and Jacob and them, like they was obsessed with their characters too. We was all having fun, but then my grandma, I remember, she was seeing how crazy I was with this character. I had went even so far as to make a little mask for my niece Shiloh as a baby, just to put a little Willow mask on her, and it was so cute because she actually kept it on whenever I'd put it on her little face, or she would keep it on. It was so cute as a baby. She didn't move, but I'm like, my grandma saw that, she got wind of that, and she was living in Arkansas at the time. We were living in Louisiana at the time. She wrote me a letter front and back talking about how, this is not you, this ain't you, boy, that ain't you, it's like, Willow is dark, it's evil, it's not godly, because my grandmother, is an old school Pentecostal, and I'm Christian too, but my grandma, she's really old school, like, you can't wear black t-shirts, you need to wear a bright color t-shirt, that kind of stuff, you can't have a beard, that sort of thing. Anyway, So she was just trying to be caring, and it made me really think about some things, I'm like, because, I'm like, is this, I mean, it was like, okay, is this a credit to how good I'm doing this character, or is this actually I really am obsessed with this character and I need to get rid of it? But I didn't want to because I was having so much fun as the character and I didn't want to get rid of it. But then over time, I started to really get burnt out on it, and plus there was some, I was the church and I was actually having a falling out, but it wasn't because of Willow. It was because I didn't agree with certain things that was going on in the church, and they didn't like that I was basically pointing out that it was wrong. They didn't like that, so they basically kicked me out of the church. They did it in a way where it was like, why don't you go find another church, maybe you'll be happier there, like they did it in like a passive aggressive way. That way nobody could tell. That way they could defend themselves and go, oh no, he left on his own free will. We suggested he leave, but we didn't make him leave, that kind of deal. So yeah, I was in a really sad, depressed place at that point, and I was just like, yeah, maybe I should stop doing Willow. And that was actually around the time I started to. That was actually the original reason why I stopped doing the Willow videos. The video where Season of the Wisp begins, where it says, I'm not doing it no more, you can't bring dark in the light. That was in response to people wanting me to stop doing Willow, and I just didn't have the heart to do it anymore. I was depressed. So I decided, I'm like, what if I do a video where I finally kill him off, And that was where it all began. That was where it originally began, was I killed him off, put him in a tree. That was supposed to be the end of it. But then I decided to pull him out of the tree. But by the time that happened, I really was not into the character anymore. So I just decided to kill him off. And plus my niece was getting older, and she actually was scared whenever I was like setting up the scarecrow, like practicing it up. Like I wasn't completely sold on the idea of killing him off yet, but my niece saw it and she was a little scared of it. So I'm like, yep, okay, you gotta go. So I'm like, yep, Willow, you gotta go. Oh no, I say he's got to go. Go, 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 Willow. Anyway, I'm sorry if I'm talking fast. This little recording device thingy where it doesn't have a whole lot of time, so I'm trying to make sure I'm hitting all the checking off the list here. Yeah, but so I decided to stop doing Willow, because it was time to just give it up, and stop it and stuff. And I killed him off. In Willow's Exodus, I had the Reaper, in my mind it was good enough to have the Reaper come collect the ashes and bury him in the underworld. I'm like, there, he's not coming back. But then I had people, now that I quit doing Willow, I had a couple people going, when you going to do Willow again? When you going to bring him back again? Hey, he could always come back, just add water, he could come back. Nobody really dies in television. I'm like, oh really? Okay. All right. Explain how you come back from this shit. I got something for your ass. I don't want to do Willow no more. I'll reference him, but I don't want to do it no more because it's not my original character. I would like it to be my original character, but it's not. I would like to do more stuff, just different things, and move on from that. So I'm like, what if the Reaper downright ate his soul? And like just complete, like, if you know anything about Egyptian mythology, by the way, Amet, the crocodile, like whenever Anubis, like if your heart weighs more than the feather, he feeds your soul to Amet. Instead of being eternal tortured, you get fed to the crocodile. You cease to exist. That's where I got the idea for it. The Reaper eats your soul. You cease to exist. Basically, that's what I said for that one. But yeah, so Willow's never coming back ever. But yeah, Willow just. Ooh, that was definitely a ride. But yeah, and as far as like the music video I did for Willow, like couldn't come up with a good name for the music video just for Willow. The art gallery where it said Willow's Forms. That's all I could come up with at the time because I'm like, well, I wanted to just do a slideshow of like all the pictures I had of Willow that I still had, like from beginning, like from like his earliest days and stuff. So earliest form. But yeah, and I put "You're My Favorite Mistake" because I thought that would just be funny because. Yeah, it was a mistake to do that, but at the same time, I did have fun. So I'm like, you're my favorite mistake. So, but with all that being said, I hope y'all have enjoyed this behind the scenes on Willow the Wisp, and I may do a part 2 because I'm kind of running short on time here. But with all that being said, farewell wherever y'all fare, and I will see y'all next time on LWTV.